The Church of England has found itself at the centre of yet another race row after the Archdeacon of Liverpool called for anti-whiteness. Miranda Threlfall-Holmes sparked fury after tweeting she had realised that whiteness is to race as patriarchy is to gender. So yes, let's have anti-whiteness and let's smash the patriarchy. Interesting logic. While the Archdeacon insists the comments aren't anti-white or anti-men, her flock appeared to disagree, branding them divisive and nonsensical. One parishioner even asked if it was safe to attend church with her in the pulpit. It's not the only controversial position the Archdeacon holds, having supported Birmingham Cathedral's recruiting of a deconstructing whiteness officer for its 11-person racial justice unit, a position that's drawn criticism from within the church itself after the Archbishop of Canterbury likened the language to that used on the TV sitcom W1A. Clearly, this has nothing to do with the church. I mean, we just have to start there. This has nothing to do with the Church of England, can I just say? And as someone who grew up as an Anglican in West Africa, I find the Church of England in this country so staggeringly, different and bizarre. And I actually think at some point there will be a split because the communion of the Church of England is being threatened. You have conservative bishops across Africa and Asia that are looking at these sorts of archbishops in England and thinking, what Bible have you been reading? What does this have to do with anything? I mean, you can imagine talking to a Ugandan archbishop and just saying, oh, anti-whiteness should be abolished. And I'm like, okay, you're going to talk about poverty, HIV, none of the, things that matter, be kind to your neighbor, none of it. And it's the same thing, the controversy earlier last year where they were, the Church of England here accepted blessing same-sex unions. Now, regardless of whether you agree with the church's stance on same-sex marriage and homosexuality and all of that, it's clearly written, the doctrine has been followed in the church for many, many years. Going to other Anglican churches across the world and saying, actually, the Church of England has these really nice, trendy bishops that are saying, actually, let's bless the unblessable, so let's all follow suit. I mean, it's completely
hold on, Esther, that is totally outrageous. You can't say for a second that it's wrong to bless the same-sex union. It's wrong for a gay couple to get married in church. I think it's perfectly legitimate. And that is, funny enough, that is where there is a divide. There is a legitimate divide. Please don't talk over me, because Penny will tell me off.
I just told Esther off.
Penny will tell me off, even though you're talking over me. But I think it's a very important issue to talk over. That this is the split between the Anglican Church in the UK and African churches. You're absolutely right.
Everyone else.
And I am firmly on the side of the Anglican Church in this country.
Yes.
I think it is outrageous in the 21st century that a gay couple cannot get married in a church.
And I think it's
the Archbishop of Canterbury gets a lot of criticism.
Say unblessable.
He has to tiptoe around this issue to try and keep the Anglican Church together. I think he should go full on and just say this church in England is going to bless same-sex marriages.
But the thing is, we don't do this with Islam. Or Catholicism. Why not create a new church?
Well, I'm proud of the fact.
Hang on. We're on a slightly different subject
down a rabbit hole there. But
back to the comments.
Okay, yeah.
About the anti-whiteness.
Miranda double barrel. I didn't catch Threlfall-Holmes actually.
Threlfall-Holmes, historian.
Aren't church leaders meant to promote unity and harmony, not sort of promote racial division and nastiness and illogical, kind of divisive comments?
That has nothing to do with the Bible.
I hope she's going to leave the church now. Is she going to leave the church now because she's white?
Well, that's a good question.
Penny Smith.
I thought that the reaction on users of X who suggested that if the Cambridge-educated priest wanted anti-whiteness, then she should lead by example and resign.
Well,
that's what I said. Is she going to leave the church?
The point here, and I'm going to just hark back a little bit to our first subject about freedom of speech. So, obviously, this person is an idiot. I think we can all probably conclude that.
You're talking about the Archdeacon of Liverpool.
Well, I do, I can't apologise for her status, but her comments are idiotic. There's no doubt about that. She's clearly a left-wing thinker, and that is fine, but being left-wing is kind of a disease, politically speaking. So, therefore, you'd expect nothing, politically speaking, therefore you'd expect nothing less. That's what I would expect her to say. I just wouldn't expect her to say it as somebody who holds such an impressive title. So, really, I would hope somebody bigger, Archbishop of Canterbury, he's a nice chap. He could pitch in, or he'd probably agree with her, frankly. He could maybe say, look, thank you very much for your comments. Thanks for your time in the church, but your numbers
It's just always the way with trendy lefties. When you give them a trendy cause that they don't quite understand, it's unnatural to them, they get it wrong, they get the language wrong, they come up with this completely pointless charge.
Correct.
It's perfectly acceptable to say, for example, we need a greater focus on diversity.
Well,
you could debate the legacy of empire, but all this nonsense, it's just brings the church into disrepute.
Let me give you another example, Ed, of this malaise. There's a quango that is I love a quango, that is paying Edinburgh University £800,000 for a review of colonial stereotypes in the works of novelist Robert Louis Stevenson. UK Research and Innovation insists the Treasure Island author included many of the colonial stereotypes typical of that genre of Western literature. The 3-year project is expected to involve long-distance travel to places like Samoa and Hawaii. Funny that, isn't it? And he is the last major figure in Scottish literature to have work reprised by academics. Last year, Aberdeen University was ridiculed for suggesting that anyone reading J.M. Barrie's Peter Pan could find the children's fantasy emotionally challenging. I mean, again, these people are... But there's something wrong with these people.
£800,000.
He was feted by the Samoans. He was.
The Samoans loved him, but...
The Samoans did like him.
But the point is, 800,000 quid. The statue's probably of him somewhere if you went to Samoa. I'm sure there is.
I wouldn't mind if there wasn't any money involved. I wouldn't mind if somebody did it.
£800,000.
And that is where...
I want my reparations, because we always talk about this. I've not received a penny.
Have you not?
No,
For
it's
what?
outrageous. Because of what was done to my ancestors, Ed.
That's true. It's time for reparations. Anyway, I feel a research project coming on in the Maldives